So, hello everyone, Namaste, Hare Krishna. Welcome to Gita study session. So, we are in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In our previous session, we completed up to verse number 11, and today we'll go on from verse 12. So, before that, I'll give a context to this verse and also context of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is driving us. So, Bhagavad Gita consists of 18 chapters. First 6 chapters, Krishna spoke about Karma Yoga. First 6 chapters, Krishna spoke about Karma Yoga, how to live in this world, how to work in this world, what should be our mindset while working in this world. When we work in that consciousness, in that mindset, our mind is purified, consciousness is purified. Then, whether the work is a joy, one can experience work is a joy, and our intelligence is strengthened, knowledge is strengthened. One can do dhyana. One is qualified to at least do dhyana. So the practice of dhyana yoga requires intense meditative practices. One has to control his mind, senses, and meditate on Atma for longer time. It takes months, years, lifetimes to attain perfection. So at that time, Arjuna also uh, expresses his disqualification in practicing this Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Ashtanga Yoga. So that's when Krishna teaches Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is so glorious, beautiful, easy to understand, easy to practice, easy to attain perfection. So Bhakti, devotion to the Lord, for some people it naturally manifests. For some people it's not. It wouldn't manifest so easily, right? So one has to hear the greatness and glories of the Lord, right? So more we hear the greatness and glories of the Lord, more we develop love towards the Lord. So Krishna spoke everything about himself. Who is God? What is the role of God in this cosmic existence? How is God is making everything function? And many things about Lord and about creation, destruction. And Krishna emphasizes one fact for sure, that if a person fixes the mind on Krishna, approaches Krishna, and meditates on Krishna, then such a person attains his abode, Supreme Lord, and doesn't need to come back again into this material world. Mm. And after that, Arjuna also want to see the important thing, like how Krishna is all pervaded everywhere. Arjuna wanted to see. Then Krishna showed his universal form, and finally says, "Bhaktya Swananya Sakya Ahameva Vida Arjuna." If you want to know me, if you want to see me face to face, eye to eye, if you want to attain me, one thing is really needed. That is Ananya Bhakti, pure love of Godhead. Okay, so pure love of Godhead one can attain, and Krishna is teaching various practices to develop that pure love of Godhead. Okay, so in the first 7 verses, I'll not go in detail because I've covered in the previous sessions many times. So in the first 7 verses, this is a question from Arjuna. So what should be my object of meditation? Should I meditate on impersonal form of the Lord, or should I meditate on my own Atma, or should I meditate on the personal aspect of the Supreme Lord? So Krishna teaches that you meditate on the personal aspect of the Supreme Lord. You meditate on me, so it is easy. Other practices also lead to the same destination, but this practice is faster. So that's exactly the question of Arjuna. Yoga Vittama, who can attain the Lord faster? Right? What is the fastest way to reach a destination? Right? Krishna is saying by fixing the mind on Krishna. That is the fastest way. One can try other practices, roller coaster rides, if we can try, but easiest and fastest way is to fixing the mind on Krishna by the practice of Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna teaches the various practices involved in the Bhakti Yoga. So one has to fix the mind and intelligence onto the Supreme Lord, and meditate on the Supreme Lord with pure love and devotion. And if that is not possible, one has to at least practice remembering the Supreme Lord, hearing, chanting His holy names, or listening to the pastimes of the Lord, listening to the good qualities of the Lord, meditating on the form of the Lord. Or one can practice. If a person cannot take to that practice, one can do at least seva. Seva consists of direct seva to the Supreme Lord and serving in the temple, and there's indirect seva. Like we are doing for ourselves, but we are offering to the Supreme Lord. It's an indirect seva. So either way, if a person does seva to the Supreme Lord, one develops attachment, love towards the Supreme Lord slowly, slowly. Right? If a person cannot do anything for the God, if he wants to do everything for himself, so Krishna also gives such an option. You can be yourself, but give up the results of your work. Whatever you be work consciousness, not result consciousness. If your mind is revolving around the result, then you'll be lost. Right? Um, and finally, Krishna says, if a person is practicing, this is what we always ask, right? If I'm learning something, what will I get out of it, right? Krishna is saying, if a person is practicing all these practices involved in bhakti yoga, one's heart is purified. Once nature is purified, heart is purified, consciousness is purified, and one develop divine qualities, good qualities, by which one becomes a favorite person to the Supreme Lord. God likes that person. Okay. So I'll do this verse. We completed up to verse 11 in our previous session. We'll do verse 12. Anyone want to recite this verse? 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll do that. श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलस्त्यागास् त्यागात् शान्तिर् अनन्तरम्. Translation: if you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So, what Krishna is saying here? So, Krishna already gave the list up from 8, 9, 10, 11. Right? 8 is fixing the mind on Krishna, fixing the intelligence on Krishna, meditating on Krishna with love and devotion. So 9 is practice, at least practice. If we are not there yet, but we can practice. 10 is do some service, do some seva to the Supreme Lord. And 11 is renouncing the results of our actions. We do work, but we don't expect anything in return in our favor, but we continue to do work. Right? So Krishna is saying this is another option, Arjuna. So if you cannot take to this practice, the previous one he said, right? Uh, so if you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Cultivation of knowledge. Cultivation of better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is a renunciation of fruits of action, and by which you can attain the peace of mind. Okay, so different acharyas have given different explanations on this one. So Krishna Singh practices better than practice is knowledge. So what is knowledge? Knowledge is not like mundane knowledge about movies, celebrities, or sports or anything. So Krishna is talking about the practices, yeah, the knowledge about our own Atma, knowledge about Atma, or knowledge about the Bhagavad Gita or anything, right? So instead of like mechanical practice involved to attain perfection, one can higher than that. Krishna is saying instead of mechanical practices involved to attain perfection, better than that is the knowledge about our own soul. We are not this body, we are soul. My whole purpose of life is to attain Lord, right? And superior to that knowledge is meditation. Meditating on the Supreme Lord. And Krishna, in fact, here says superior to that is getting unattached to the results of our work. Right? So most of the time, anything we do, right? I do this with an expectation of result. मुझे क्या मिलेगा, right? I do this, right? I'll go to office to earn money. If they're not giving money, I go to office with an expectation money, or expectation could be like a promotion, right? So sometimes we see in the in this time, like, this is the month of February. Everybody writes their own goals and objectives and what they have accomplished in the past last year, and everybody expects a promotion. Of course, it's natural, right? Everyone expects promotion. Because of that expectation, like people's mindset and the way they work is different now. So before, when the expectation was not there, they work in a different way, but with an expectation, they work in a different way, right? So, but expectation is met. When the expectation is met, is good. When the expectation is not met, that's a problem. Right? We'll be totally devastated when the expectation is not met. If a person is expecting a promotion, higher role, jobs, anything, there's nothing wrong in that. But if expectation is not met, then we'll be totally disturbed. So that's why Krishna is saying, don't expect anything. Let leave it to the God. Leave the result to the God. You do your work, right? So if a person can work in such a way, that is still glorious. That is still glorious. That is glorious. So one should not think like whatever Krishna said in 11 is inferior. No, that is also superior. Krishna wants to emphasize here. If a person can take to that practice, work without expectation of a result, hmm, offer the result to the God and let God give what he has to give. So such a person have peace of mind. Otherwise, there is no peace of mind, whatever we do. So I think we all have our personal experiences, right? So we can reflect on it and think about it, right? So what are the works we have done with expectation of something and we are totally disturbed. So this set of slokas can also be seen in this way, overall context of Bhagavad Gita. That is, if a person practices Karma Yoga, Karma Yoga is like one has to work for the pleasure of the Lord, offer the result to the Lord, be neutral to success or failure. So by such, one gets a purification of mind. Is not disturbed by any outside things, and he's ready to meditate and concentrate. So if you can meditate and concentrate, one develops the knowledge about the self and one develops a pure devotion to the Lord. Anyway, so that is too technical. Okay, so we'll just reflect on it, what Krishna had spoken in this set of verses, from 8 to 12. Okay, so 8 to 12, those are teachings of Krishna and very much applicable to us in everyday life. Okay, so that means this should not be seen as a theoretical knowledge or may not be applicable to me or something like that. It is each and every shloka, 8, 9, 10, 11, everything are practically applicable for every one of us. Every one of us. So because we're all practitioners, so we got to do everything, right? So by making some affirmations, by making some affirmations, so uh, one can show interest and try to at least practice and progress faster. When you have affirmations, one can progress faster, right? So this is what we hear in some places also. People say like, I'm totally disturbed, my mind is totally disturbed. So we hear these people saying like, you make an affirmation like, okay, I'll meditate, I'll think about the God. Today I'll take some time to listen to Bhagavad Gita. Right? So it's an affirmation. If a person makes an affirmation, he develops interest and inclination. With that, there will be progression. Okay. So what affirmations we can make from this set of verses? Okay, so Krishna is talking to us, each and everyone. Krishna's message is not just for Arjuna; it is for each and every one of us. So we can make some affirmations and apply to us, and meditate on it, right, every time. So one can make an affirmation. Like what Krishna said in verse number 8: "Fix your mind on me, fix your intelligence on me. Always think about me, always meditate on me." Right. So totally devoted to me. Right? There's 8. Okay, so affirmation we can make, oh my dear Lord, oh my dear Lord, as you said, as you said in the verse number 8, I will fix my mind unto you. I'll fix my mind unto you. Hmm. I know my mind runs away, but I have no other choice but to fix my mind unto you. One can make that affirmation by which we can develop interest and inclination. So, verse number 8, practice remembering. Practice remembering. So, oh my dear Lord, as you said, I'll practice remember unto you. If my mind running away, I'll try to bring it back. I try to dovetail my mind and senses unto you. I'll practice remembering your holy names, chanting your holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We looked at in detail, right? So this is one of the practice chanting the holy name of the Lord. So other practice is meditating on the beautiful form of the Lord. Other practice is meditating on the divine qualities of the Lord, pastimes of the Lord from Bhagavatam. So all these are practices. So one can make an affirmation, Krishna, as you said, I will practice remembering unto you, remembering you. Hmm? So 10, verse number 10, Krishna said, you do some seva. Do some seva, then you'll develop interest and inclination, right? So, my dear Lord, this is affirmation number 3. My dear Lord, as you said in verse number 10, I will serve you. I will serve you from the bottom of my heart. As per my abilities, I'll serve you. Just for you. You alone. Right? You alone, nothing else. Hmm? And Krishna said, you 11, you do your duties, but don't expect anything in return, right? So this one can make an affirmation like this: as you oh my dear Lord, as you said, I'll work for your pleasure, for pleasure. So if you can make any of these affirmations and think about it, reflect on it in our daily life every day, so it's so beneficial, and progression will be faster. So that's what we want, right? Anything we want in a faster way. Arjuna also asked the same question. Yoga Vitama, who is the one who goes faster? What is the route which takes us to the ultimate destination faster, faster? So the practice of Bhakti Yoga, Krishna had said, these are the practices one can think about, meditate on the Lord, and these are the practices we can. If you're not starting, we can start. If you're already starting, we can progress and we can attain the Supreme Lord. Okay, so that completes the section. So we completed 1 to 7, 8 to 12, and we're going to look at the 13 to 20. Okay, so so one may ask this question: if a person is practicing the practices in the Bhakti Yoga, various practices in the Bhakti Yoga, these are all practices 8, 9, 10, 11 we have seen, right? If a person is practicing, there is a transformation. There is a transformation, change in heart, change in consciousness, purification of our existence. Most importantly, purification of our existence, right? So many people try many different ways to become humble, to become tolerant, right? Right? There are many practices involved also, like so many lectures, so many things. But if you see from the lens of Bhagavad Gita, it's clear. Krishna is saying if a person practices Bhakti Yoga, it naturally develops all good qualities. All naturally develops good qualities. So seamlessly, he'll develop good qualities. Okay, so story time, we look at the story and try to build upon this, and we'll go into these verses. Okay, I think I have told this story before, but I'll tell this again. So, how devotional service or bhakti yoga or bhakti towards the Lord is transformative, we can see from this story. That is the essence. Okay, so there is a person whose name was Mrigari. He was a hunter. He was a hunter. That's what his livelihood. Okay, every day he gets up from the bed, goes to the forest hmm, without brushing teeth, goes to the forest and drinks some water there and start hunting. Hunting for breakfast, hunting for lunch, hunting for dinner, and he collects all the meat, breakfast meat, and give it to his wife to cook, and lunch meat, and dinner meat. Everything. His whole life is like only killing animals and eating, nothing else. So that was the life and consciousness of this Murgari hunter. Okay, so not just that, it was so extreme. He was completely a different level. So this guy, this person Mrigari, when he hunts, when he kills the animals, he only half kills. He doesn't kill. Huh? He just half kills. He shoots in a way animal suffers. Animal suffers. So, so that is a state, that is a mindset, that is a level of consciousness for the Murgari. And while animal is suffering, he looks at it and religious. He feels great. He gets a great joy looking at the animal which is suffering to die. So that is the state of his mind. So while he was doing, one day Narada Muni appears. Narada Muni appears there and he says, "What is that you're doing? What is that you're doing, Murgari? If you want to kill in full. Kill it off. Why are you half killing it and making it to suffer? So you are giving so much tormentation to these animals. So why are you doing this?" Then Murugari says, "This is my livelihood. That's how that's how we eat. This is my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? That's how I grew up. That's how I inherited from my parents and ancestors. This is my lifestyle." So that Narada Muni says, "Okay, if you are doing this, you will go through so much suffering in the next lifetime." And Narada Muni suggests, instructs that, okay, if you are worried about the food, I'll supply the food. If food is your problem, I'll supply the food. Okay, you do one thing. Go home, build a nice hut. Okay, take this Japamala, chant this Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So chant the holy names of the Lord, sit and meditate, and people looking at you, they think like you have changed. And by my arrangement, my arrangement, there will be abundance of food will be supplied to you. You'll not run out of food. All you do is sit and chant the holy name of the Lord. So as instructed by Narada Muni, Murugare went and he started. You can see in this picture, he built a hut. He started meditating on the holy name of the Lord. All the all the villagers, all the people looking at Murugari, they thought like Murugari become saint now, and Murugari became a Baba. And they started offering something, and Narada Muni also ensured all the food is supplied to him. So he had abundance of food, so much food supplies, and everything was so nice. So but he did not forget one thing: instruction. So as instructed by Narada Muni, he continued to chant. Okay, sometimes in our life, when we get all the comforts, we throw away whatever we however we started, right? We neglect however we started, right? So that's not the case with Murugari. So he continued his practice. Hmm. So he was told to chant the holy name of the Lord. He started chanting the holy name of the Lord, and by such there is a great transformation happened. Great transformation happened in the heart of Murugari. Okay, so one day Narada Muni was nicely going everywhere, and he wants to see Murugari, what Murugari is doing. Let me go and check on him. So he was walking there, and you can see in this picture while he was walking, suddenly one person rushed to Narada Muni, and he was covering with his towel. Narada Muni was literally really surprised. Who is this? Who is this person? And then he looked at it, and at that time Murugari also lifted his head and says like, "Oh, my dear Narada Muni, you are about to step on these ants. The ants will get killed. I'm making sure the ants pass this way. After that, you can step on this." So you can see here what was his consciousness before, what was his consciousness after practicing this bhakti yoga. So just by simple practices, all he was doing is he was just sitting and chanting the holy name of the Lord. Great transformation happened, and he became a great devotee, and he was so merciful. You can see here, so he become so merciful. Mhm, and he's naturally non-violent. And he wants to save the small ants. So that time Narada Muni says, so one important thing, "Oh hunter, it is not all remarkable that you have developed such good qualities like non-violence. For those who earnestly take up devotion to Sri Hari, never wish to inflict pain on others. Pain on others. If a person is practicing devotion unto Sri Hari, the Supreme Lord, he'll naturally develop good qualities, and his glory is the devotion unto the Supreme Lord. Okay, so the essence of this story is the practice of devotional service is very practical. We can see the changes from the day one itself. We can see the improvements in our consciousness from the day one itself. Okay, and we can see in the life of Murugari. It's very transformative. So we'll see a few more references from our scriptures, how a devotee naturally develops divine qualities. So, and we'll see what happens by such practices, right? In Skanda Purana, it is said, Antaha Shuddhir Bahi Shuddhis Tapa Shanti Adyastha Ami Guna प्र, प्रपद्यन्ते प्राप्यधन प्रपद्यन्ते हरि सेवा भी का हरि सेवा भी कामिनाम हरि सेवा भी कामिनाम. So translation: purification of consciousness, purification of bodily activities, austerities, peace of mind, etc., all become automatically manifest in the person who is engaged in devotional service. Anta Shuddhi, like Anta means internal cleanliness, internal cleanliness, right? So what is that internal cleanliness? It is said in our scriptures that our consciousness is contaminated with lust, greed, anger, envy, so many negative emotions. Or day, from morning 6 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 11 p.m., what are the time frame we have, we can see ourselves, what is our consciousness throughout this day. Throughout this, it varies on individual levels, right? So, so it is said here, anta shuddhi happens, anta karna shuddhi happens, practice, it happens, naturally happens. It is said in Skanda Purana. So if a person is practicing the path of bhakti yoga, devotional services, antakarna shuddhi automatically happen. So he doesn't need to renounce the world, doesn't need to go to forest, meditate and control the mind. In this age of Kali Yuga, controlling mind is practically impossible. Mm. So the practice of bhakti yoga involves dovetailing our mind, dovetailing our senses. We shift our mind and senses towards the Lord, and antakarana shuddhi naturally will happen. Okay, it takes time, depends on individual, but it takes time, it will happen. Yeah, internal purification, external purification, and peace of mind, all the good things will naturally happen. So we'll see one more nice reference from Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll just read the translation so that we can move faster. So, one who has unflinching devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. Hmm. This is because he is hovering on the material plane and is uncertain to be attracted by the clearing material energy. Right? So Krishna talks about this in 16th chapter in detail about Devasuri Vibhaga Yoga, right? All the divine qualities, demonic qualities, right? So, what are the things we see in a divine person? What are the things we see in a demonic person? Right? Krishna gives very nice detail of it. So, when we analyze, when we look at it, we can see where I stand, where I stand. Of most of us, of course, everybody, including me. So, we all have demonic natures in some way or the other, right? So the practice of devotional service, the practice of bhakti yoga, easy to understand, easy to practice, easy to attain perfection, is so transformative. It changes the heart. Hmm. So here it is said that if a person has love of Godhead, he naturally develops all the divine qualities, godly qualities. Hmm. Otherwise, otherwise he'll be attracted to the Maya, material energy, and he'll be lost. He'll be lost. So that's why every day when we get up in the morning, so make a resolve to practice what our Krishna had taught, right? At least you can chant the holy name of the Lord and set our mood for the rest of the day. Hmm? If you're attending some Buddhist classes, they'll say like you do some you do some pranayama or do what is it called, um, mindfulness or something like that. Different practices, different schools of thoughts have different practices, but that as prescribed by Krishna, as prescribed by Krishna, if we follow, then this path practices are easy. What difficulty is there? We just sit in one place, chant the holy name of the Lord. We do some arti to the Lord. We can hear some katha of the Lord. So it's so transformative. Brings a great satisfaction to the mind and consciousness that level sets us for the rest of the day. Rest of the day will be so nice, so happy. Little bit of practice in the morning. Hmm. So, and towards the end, if we have some time throughout the day, we can practice, or towards the end, we can practice. If we can practice and set ourselves nicely, and every single second, every single second is an opportunity for purification. Purification. So Krishna, we covered up to 12 chapter, right? So we have seen this in different verses. Krishna talks about that this concept in detail in 14th chapter, 15th chapter, 14th chapter, and 17th chapter, etc. Right, in 18th chapter also. So the soul, who are we? We are this body or soul? We are the soul living in this body. What is this body made of? Prakriti. Prakriti. What is this Prakriti? Consist of or made of consist of three modes of material nature. That is mode of goodness, sattva guna, mode of passion, rajoguna, mode of ignorance, tamoguna. Hmm. Every single second, every day in our life, we are pulled and propelled by these three modes: mode of goodness, mode of passion, some mode of ignorance. Right? So, sometime in the mode of goodness, sometime in the mode of passion, sometime in the mode of ignorance. Hmm. So, our body is our nature is made of this intercosmic existence. Prakriti is made of these three elements. Okay, these three elements. So our body is also made of these three elements, right? So just like a magnet particle naturally gets influenced by magnet, right? So same thing, our body is also made of these elements, and we'll get pulled and propelled by by these modes every day. So this is not something we can see with our eyes, right? But we can perceive by the nature one is in. Okay, so quickly I'll go over. If a person in the mode of goodness is happy, satisfied, calm, clean, regulated, well organized, thoughtful, attentive, self-organized, compassionate, all the good things, right? So his mind and consciousness is in a stable state, right? And mode of passion, his mind of consciousness is a disturbed state. Always spontaneous, flickering, multitasking, extreme habits, extreme eating habits, extreme uh, um, work habits, living habits, and everything. So he always stressful, greedy, running behind things, not always satisfied, no satiation in anything he does. And this is because of mode of passion. So how can we see the symptoms in a person who is in the mode of ignorance? A person is lazy, sad, unclean, unregulated habits, you know, no proper eating habits, no proper sleeping habit. No. I'm not picking on anyone, and everybody, every living entity, everybody, not just human beings, even animals also. In any even ant, elephant, or any species, we are all pulled or propelled by these three modes, and we have different levels of consciousness. So mode of ignorance is like this, like totally undisciplined, and if a person is going in a left, this person is going right. So like a terrorist, some example, right? So yeah, so these levels, every person has. Some people have 90% mode of goodness and 10% passion, or 5% passion, 5% ignorance. So some people has like other way. 5% passion, 5% passion, 5% tamas, ignorance, and sorry, other way is like 90% of tamas, maybe 90% of tamas, or 5 and 5% of passion and goodness, right? So again, it varies, it depends on individual, but we all see this in our life. It happens to us in our life. Okay, so that's why Krishna has taught yoga. So how to overcome this? How to overcome this influence of mode on us? How to overcome this influence of mode on us? By the practice of yoga. Yoga. So yoga means, it also means a meditative practice. So one can say like, okay, I can sit and meditate. If a person doing this alone, right? Sitting calm, breathing exercises, he can see immediately his consciousness levels go up. He goes to the mode of goodness, right? So any yogic practices we see in this world, many practice, many things people do. Like so, these practices bring us to the mode of goodness. Like if a person doing at least going to gym and lifting weight and running, seriously speaking, his mode of goodness increases, and he'll get a peace of mind after that, right? So so out of all many practices, the best practice recommended is Bhakti Yoga, the practice of Bhakti Yoga. So when you practice Bhakti Yoga, so by we what happens when you practice Bhakti Yoga? There is an intervention from the Lord. God is looking at us. He's seeing us. He's seeing us, and he makes sure, okay, we are on the right path. We are progressing faster, right? So he ensures we are in the mode of goodness all the time, and transcend these modes and be in the ecstasy, and be always in the God consciousness, right? So that is a uh, greatness and glory of Bhakti Yoga. So by even by little bit of practice of Bhakti Yoga, also we can uplift our consciousness to higher modes for sure. We can practice and see, can practice and see at your home, or if you come to temple, any devotional practices will uplift, put us in a mode of goodness for sure, guaranteed. Well, yeah. So this is not like a one-time job; it is like everyday thing. So if we practice every day, then we are progressing towards the God for sure. So, but the practice of Bhakti Yoga involves like we'll get causeless mercy of the Krishna, and our practices will be stable. Okay, so we'll put the depend. We totally depend on Krishna. Krishna, you help me to practice. Right. So any practices, chanting the holy name, meditating on the Lord, all these devotional services takes us. Okay, so we'll move on. So rest of the 20 minutes, I'll talk about the qualities. So qualities that endear one to Krishna. So Krishna spoke about 8 to 12, about various practices involved in the path of Bhakti Yoga. We also looked at affirmations. How can we practice, right? How can we meditate? And by such practices, what happens? Transformation happens, change of heart happens, change of consciousness happens, right? And purification happens. How can a person say, and the purification has happened to me? How can I gauge myself? Purification has happened to me by this. One develops divine qualities, godly qualities, divine qualities. Devi Sampada. One develops Devi Sampada. Mm. So yeah. So text 13 and 14, we'll see this, and 15, 16 we'll try. So 13 and 14. I'll read this verse, Sanskrit. Maybe I'll ask someone to read on the left side of the Sanskrit verses. After that, we'll go into the explanation. You don't want to try?
Adveshta sarvabhutanam, not envious towards anyone, including the envious. Maitraha,
Yeah.
friendly to all. Karuna yevacha, kind, merciful to all. Nirmamo, free from sense of proprietorship. Nirahankaraha, free from false ego or identification with body. Samadukka shuka, equal in happiness and distress. Shami, forgiving and tolerant. Santushtaha, always satisfied and contented. Satatam yogi, fixed in devotional service. Yatatma drida nishchayaha, self-controlled, mind, emotions and determined. Mai arpita manobuddhir, mind and intelligence fixed on me. Yomat bhakta sa mai priyaha, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me.
Thank you, Prabhu. अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरङ्कारः समदुःखः सुखक्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मयि अर्पितमनोर्बुद्धिर् is important verse यो मद्भक्तः समे प्रियः यो मद्भक्तः समे प्रियः such a devotee is very dear to me. Krishna is saying if a person has any of these qualities, or has all these qualities or any of these qualities, God loves that person. God loves a person. He's very dear to him. Everybody wants to become a favorite of a person, right? Right. If I have three kids, my kids will try to be good to me so that I can be I can show more liking towards my child, right? So mm, but father also has some things like checklist. If you pass this checklist, father's love is of course same, but if a father has some checklist, if the child meets the checklist, then father has a natural direction. He naturally loves the child very much, right? The same thing, Krishna is also like that. God is also like that. So what God is expecting is a checklist, right? So to pass this checklist, what is needed? The practice of bhakti yoga. As per this chapter, if a person practices bhakti yoga, one develops divine qualities, and we become favorite to the Lord. Okay. Adveshtah sarvabhutanam. Bhuta means living entities, all living entities. Adveshtah. Dvesha means envy or hatredness. Advesha means no envy, no hatredness. So that means we can ask ourselves, do we hate people? Do we hate people every day? Are we envious of people? So what is envy? What is envy? Envy is something like if a person has something, if a person has a nice, good skill, it could be leadership skill or money or anything. He has something, possessions, right? If a person has something, I don't have it. I don't have it. And at the same time, I don't want him to have it. I don't want him to have it. So that's called envy. Envy. So it happens with uh, all of us. We see in the small kids also, 2 years old kids. Okay, so they're playing with the toys and they become envious and they'll say like, "Why you have? Why not me? I should have it, right? You don't need to have it." So because of this so-called envy, yes, everybody, all the living entities go through this because of past life impressions, not having purification in our many lifetimes. But life is an opportunity where we can practice and attain perfection, right? So it takes time. But anyway, so the devotee here is not envious. So how to practice that we can see, right? Of course, devotional service naturally or automatically makes us non-envious of anything, all loving. But in the beginning stages, we also need to practice something. So this we can apply few things. Given by many acharyas here. Yeah. So a devotee is never envious of anyone. Never envious of anyone. How? How he is? He sees others' achievements as Krishna's blessings. Okay. If a person has something, nice skill or position or what money or whatever. So what devotee sees? Okay, he sees it is because of Krishna, because it is because of his good karma. He has done some good karma, and Krishna's causeless mercy, he has attained this. Krishna, you're glorious. Appreciate Krishna all the time, right? So what we are doing, we are fixing the mind and glorifying the Supreme Lord, and we that way we will become non-envious. Non-envious, right? So this so-called envy attacks us every time. So-called envy attacks us every time. We just need to apply this thought, right? After the thought A, put the thought B and subdue the thought A. So this thought A, if we let the thought A grow, it's gonna create problems. So the envy has to be subdued immediately. Otherwise, the envy gonna kill us. Seriously, it will create a so-called envy create so many problems. We create problems to others, and relations also. Relationships are damaged, and many things happen. So major thing is we lost peace of mind. If you're always hating someone, if you're always envious of someone, right? So simple thing, apply this mindset like it is because of God, because of his good karma, because of God, yes, being supplied enough. My goal is not to become envious of him. My goal is to attain the Supreme Lord. That's it. So one will totally really come out of that envy. Okay. So Maitraha means friendly to all. So a devotee of the Lord is naturally a good friend of everybody. Is a good friend of everybody. So that means like he'll create a Facebook account, and he will ensure his friends friends number increases. In the past, like people used to do, like if they have two friends, they'll make four friends on the Facebook. If they have 10 friends, they do 100 friends. So, so what God is God saying, like, to increase the friends list on the Facebook. Maybe, but that's not what God is saying. What God is saying is to be friendly to all, be friendly to all, right? So it's also one of the good trait one must have. And we may not be friendly to all, how to cultivate, so we can say this. So every living being, every living being, including animals or all species and all the human beings, we're all part of one family. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mame Vamsho Jiva Loki, Jiva Bhuta Sanataha, Sanatanaha. All the living entities, everything, all the living entities are part and parcels of the Supreme Lord. We are all from the same source. We are all from the same source. If you could recognize that, if you think like we are all one family, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Scripture says Vasudeva Kutumbakam, right? So that way we'll see everybody equally. We see like my brothers and sisters, right? So my relatives, we have that connection with everybody, right? So that way we maintain that connection, not just connection of Facebook, by the connection, but as taught by Krishna, right? Okay, we'll move on. The next thing is karuna evacha. The devotee develops this quality called kind and merciful. He'll become naturally compassionate towards any living entity. So we have seen the story of Mrigari, how Mrigari was he was so demonic. He was half killing the animals and enjoying. And later, how he become a very compassionate, a great devotee, right? So, so here it is. Krishna is saying here, a devotee naturally will develop the so-called compassion and become kind and merciful to everybody. So how to cultivate that? So devotees see the presence of Supreme Lord. Hmm? Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hrideshya Arjuna Tishtati. Right? In all living beings, the God is present. Right? If you are looking at someone, it could be my friend, my spouse, or my children, or a ant or elephant, or any living being, non-living being, God is present. God is present in the heart of every living being, right? Right? And naturally, since we have this relation, we're all part of one family, and God is present in everyone. So we'll be naturally, if we see from that perspective, we'll naturally become compassionate. If someone is suffering, right? So maybe, so if someone is going through some situation because of his past life karma, right? So let me make him happy, by which Krishna become happy, who is residing in the heart of that person, right? So devotee of the Lord is so kind and merciful to everybody. Nirmamo nirankaraha, mamakara. This nirmamo, mama means a sense of proprietorship, right? So we see in this world in a child also, like, so sometimes if I buy a child to my daughter, if I buy a good toy to my daughter and she plays nicely and she develops attachment towards it, and if I ask that toy, can I look at it, can I use it for some time, she says no, this is mine. This is my toy. I won't give to I will not give it to you. So what's happening in the child? She's a small child, right? 2 years old, but still has so-called mamakara, right? So a sense of proprietorship. Soul thinks like this is mine. Soul in this living, if soul attains something, when the soul feels pleasure by attaining some object, so soul develops a natural obsession and he thinks it is mine. Soul thinks it is mine. So that's called makara. So how to overcome this? So as we can see from the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, so everything belongs to Krishna. If you see everything belongs to Krishna, nothing belongs to me, right? When we were born, we don't know. We don't know our parents. We have no idea who our parents are. If we had known, maybe that's a different situation. But we have no idea who our parents are. We are forced to put in a family. Hmm? We're forced to put in a family. Hmm? And and as we grow, This is my family, this is my children, this is my property, my house. That's a soul get entrapped, like this is mine, 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 right? Mm. Because of this my consciousness, so many problems. But anyway, we'll move faster. So how to overcome this? See, everything belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is given by the Supreme Lord, right? Everything is given by the Supreme Lord. Everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. I'll use for it pleasure. Okay, I'll use for it pleasure. So that way, that is a greatest way. It's the best way to develop detachment from things. So, so if I'm attached to this laptop, I'm thinking this laptop is mine. I cannot live without this laptop. So I could shift my consciousness. Thought B, like this is laptop is given by the Supreme Lord. I'll use it. This is temporary. This will go away, right? So if you have that mindset, will naturally come out of this so-called mamakara. Okay, hopefully we can complete this verses, this up to 11 at least. Ahankara, nirahankara. Nir means not, right? Ahankara means ego, false ego. So again, connecting to technical aspects. So we all have this so-called false ego or ahankara. So we identify ourselves, we are a soul. We are a soul, but we identify ourselves to be this body. We identify ourselves to be this body. We are covered by this so-called ahankara. Everybody, right? So nobody thinks like I'm soul, my soul is talking to you. Nobody thinks like that. So we are all covered by this so-called ahankara. Okay, so because of so-called ahankara, not just that, one develops ego, right? Look at me. I'm so great. I'm so great. I achieved this one. Everybody should appreciate me alone, right? If a team of five people are working, one person will say like everything has happening because of me. What we call that person is so-called egoistic person. It's a teamwork, right? There are five team people working, and one person is claiming uh, all the things. And then is not he's so egoistic, right? So that's the thing. So Krishna talks about this in we'll see in 13th chapter also, and 18th chapter also. Krishna talks about very nice things that we are not the only doer, right? So there are other doers too. There are other team players too for us to function. There is nothing to be proud about. Simple, in short. Okay, so it is because of our good karma or maybe God's mercy, we attain something. It could be money, possessions, or anything. It's God's mercy only. So if you put that thought in our mindset, right? So and realize our identity. Who am I? Who am I? Right? So I'm not this body. I'm part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. I'm subservient to the Lord. I'm a servant of the Lord. Right? If you have that mindset, we can come out of this so-called ego, false ego. Okay. So sama dukkha sukha. Sama dukkha sukha. So equal. Sama means equal in happiness and distress. Equal in happiness and distress. Right? So in our lifetime, every day we can see here, like every day is a happiness, distress. Sometimes more happy, sometimes more distress, sometimes this happen. So Krishna is saying one has to see happiness, distress equally. Krishna spoke about this in second chapter also. Matra sparshastu kanteya shitoshna sukha dukkada. Agama bhayantyas tanti tikshasva bharata. So happiness and distress are like summer and winter season. They'll come and go. Krishna says, tolerate it, tolerate it. Okay. So how to tolerate? So when happiness happens in our life, as per Bhagavad Gita, as per scriptures, it is said it is because of our good karma. Something we have done in our past lifetime is coming back as a good thing to me. I got good positions, I got good money, good everything is going well, happiness, right? All happy, good karma, simple. Or God mercy also. So if you put this thought, we'll be neutral. Right? We are not too elated, right? We don't think like it's because of my achievements I attained, right? Even in the happy, if a person can tolerate, that's why Krishna said in this Matra Sparshas Kaunteya Shloka that if a person has to tolerate happiness also, Person must learn to tolerate happiness. One should not proud of his achievements, right? And distress also one has to learn to tolerate. This is hard, right? So distance, going through distressful situations, uh, tolerating is hard. But how we can see, a devotee sees that, again, same karma principle. Something I did in the past, it is coming back. It's coming back, and devotee recognizes that my karma is getting removed. Uh, we have to remove our karma. That is the whole purpose of human life, is empty our bank balance, karmic balance. No good karma, no bad karma. We have no karma, go back to Godhead. We attend spiritual world, right? So give me 5 minutes. I'll let me complete this first. Otherwise, yeah, otherwise it'll go very slow. Uh, Give me 5 more minutes. We'll complete this. So devotee, he sees happiness and distress. He sees everything because of karma, and he remains neutral. He seeks God mercy. God, Krishna, if when I'm happy, it's because of your arrangement, maybe my karma or your arrangement. When I'm hit distress also, Krishna, my karma is getting removed. It is because of your mercy, your causeless mercy. You are emptying my bank balance. I'm still neutral, right? So that is a state of mind. It is hard to cultivate, but it greatly helps, greatly consoles our mindset, right? So that way we don't suffer perpetually. So seven. Okay, so seven is kshami. Kshami means forgiving, always forgiving or always tolerant. If a person does little bit, if a person creates a little bit of problem to us, like we blast and we create problems to him, right? So a devotee is naturally forgiving. Is naturally forgiving. So he knows, he keeps small things small. This is important thing. The art of tolerance is like, everybody in everybody's situation, these things happen, but if you keep small things small, one principle, don't make small things big, right? And another thing is, second principle is uh, thought to action cycle. Thought to action cycle, increase it. If you get a thought, we react to it. We react to it and create problems to ourselves, right? So art of forgiving, art of tolerance is increase the span, thought to action. Take a second, take a moment to react, right? So that practices one develop, right? Thought to action cycle increases by the practice of bhakti yoga or any yoga. Okay, santushtaha, always satisfied and contented, right? So this is the biggest problem everybody has. Am I happy? Am I satisfied? Am I contented? Right? So it's hard, right? So if you bring this thing in picture, replace the thought, right? Anytime we feel unhappy, anytime we feel unsatisfied, anytime we feel uncontent, one thing we can do is, if we can do something about it, we can do, no problem. If we cannot do anything about it, we are still unsatisfied, apply this principle, simple. Krishna, it's your arrangement. Whatever I am, it's your arrangement. Okay, I'll be satisfied. Okay, my goal is not to run behind things, my goal is to attain you. Okay, help me to hanker for you, not hanker for things, right? So that way I'm satisfied. So devotee is satisfied and content. Satatam yogi, always fixed in devotion service. Krishna is saying, so devotees naturally has all these qualities and is always fixed in devotional service by chanting the holy name, meditating on the Lord. And yatatma dhrida nishchayaha is by the practice of devotional service, his mind and emotions are controlled, and because he's telling his mind and senses unto Krishna. Maya arpita manobuddhi. Krishna adds one more thing, fixing the mind and intelligence on Krishna. These are practices of bhakti yoga, right? Such a devotee, yo mad bhakta same priyaha. Priyaha means uh, loving, loving, right? So Krishna is saying, I love that person. If a person has all these good qualities, hmm, devotee practicing devotional services attains, develops these good qualities, and by such good qualities, one becomes favorite to Krishna. Krishna loves us. Okay, with that, I'll stop here. Okay, Hare Krishna devotees, thank you all for attending the session today. If you have any thoughts or sharings, we can take now. Thank you all. Hare Krishna. I'll stop the session.